Welcome to the Beyond the Build podcast, where we explore the inspiring stories of everyday people from all walks of life who prioritize fitness and healthy living despite their unique backgrounds and challenges. Through honest conversations about their upbringing, personal growth, and their relationship with food, each episode aims to eliminate excuses and empower listeners to take ownership of their health by showing that someone just like them is already doing it. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, comment, and share it with someone who can find value in it. And with that, sit back and enjoy the show. Welcome back to the show. Today we have my friend Cameron joining us, hailing from Cincinnati, Ohio. We kind of have a similar story growing up super skinny, although he might have me beat. He recalls being so skinny you could see his heart beating through his chest. I don't think I was ever at that point, but he overcame it and he talks about that in this episode. So if you can relate to that, if you grew up skinny, this is a good episode for you. Also a really good episode if you are a man. We talk about some deep just life stuff that we deal with as a man and just wanting to show up as a strong supporter, the provider, the protector, and kind of that struggle to show vulnerability and open up to the people that you care about. And we dive into some deep topics, some good topics, especially kind of near the end. That's a little bit deep as well. Cameron he's kind of like that friend where you're sitting next to them at a bonfire and they're just sharing all this like wisdom and this it's just like super down to earth dude. So really enjoy this one. I definitely want to link up with him at some point. Without further ado, let's jump into it. All right. Well, here we are back in the studio. Today we have a special guest, Cameron, joining us from the East Coast. What's up? How you doing today?
Hey, how's it going? I'm joining you from Cincinnati, Ohio, all the way over there in the Midwest on the east side of the world, east side of the
All right.
U.S. I'm fantastic. And yourself?
Doing amazing. Cincinnati. Okay. Yeah. I knew you were in the Eastern time zone, but I wasn't sure where you were on the map, but heck yeah.
Oh, I wish I was coastal. Don't get me wrong. I wish I was coastal, but I'm in the Midwest.
Got you. Did you grow up in Cincinnati or?
Born and raised. I'm actually trying to get out whenever I can, but born and raised in the 513.
Yeah, heck yeah. So you said you're trying to get out of there. Have you traveled much outside of Ohio throughout your life, or what's kind of like the main push to get out of town?
Yes. So my last couple jobs, actually, I had the privilege of being able to travel across the Midwest for the most part. So like Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, and even like deeper parts of Ohio near Canada. And then
Nice.
just on my own volition, I've been to places like Seattle. I took a road trip off to New Mexico. I've been to
Okay.
Barcelona just recently. So I've
Uh,
made the effort to get out and explore to try to figure out like what places are aligned with me and my well-being.
yeah.
So I'm still very much on that journey of just trying to explore more because as much as I love Ohio, the fitness industry isn't as big as I would like. I'm starting to explore more within my community and finding more people that are like-minded, but just like ratio-wise, it's not as big as I would like. And for my growth, I want to seek more.
Yeah, definitely. How was Spain, by the way? I think I saw some of your content from Spain.
Spain was amazing, and I say that because it was just such a like a lifestyle thing. And in the
Mm,
States in the US, they'll go and they'll talk to you, and the first thing you do when you introduce yourself is you say your name and like what do you do for work.
yeah.
It's not like that over there actually. They're more defined by like what they do and like the communities that they have. And it's just I don't say it's like slower paced, but the vibes are just more like more relaxing, it's more welcoming. And they're
Mm,
very even just the cities are more commutable. I could walk an hour and I'm at the beach. I could bike and I'm 20 minutes back to where I was staying. I mean all the food and
yeah.
everything was super healthy too. So it's I loved it. I would go back again.
Sounds
I would highly
amazing.
recommend. Yeah. You been out? You been out the country?
Just Mexico several years back for like a wedding.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't been to like Europe at all. So yeah, that's on the list for sure.
Okay. I definitely recommend. I have a big bucket list of places to go.
I bet, yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Cool. What got you into the fitness space, I guess? I know we're both kind of in that space, but how did that look for you? Did you grow up playing sports? Did you know a lot about like nutrition and stuff, or how'd you get into it?
I want to say my first kind of entry into fitness was actually martial arts.
Oh, sick.
I used to read a lot of comics, and one of my favorite characters did Taekwondo, so that got me into doing Taekwondo. And then I had got injured doing well, I won't say I got injured doing taekwondo, but in the process of doing taekwondo, I had got injured and I had a few different like back issues. And I started to explore other ways of like health and fitness. Like I started going for walks and then I started to go to the gym a little bit more and start to weight train and started trying to grow my body out a little bit. But I've noticed when I circled back into martial arts, that actually helped me a lot.
Mm,
And even I got even more passionate about fitness, funny enough, when I started working in the corporate world because I noticed that sitting at a desk all day was tearing away both like mentally and like physically at my body. So like
right.
I kind of had to stay in shape to survive for me. Like it became a non-negotiable.
Yeah. And do you work like in an office or you work remote?
Yeah, so my I guess backtracking a bit, when I in my previous jobs, I worked in the office, but then I would go and I'd be traveling, I'd be out of town for like 2, 3 weeks out of the month. And then just recently in my most like current role, I do work remote. I do work from home, which, a lot of people think that's a blessing, but if you don't have enough like conviction and discipline, then it's just gonna be the same thing of sitting at a desk all day. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, no, that's real. So you like what comics are you into? I'm pretty big into like superheroes and stuff. I wish I
yeah.
read more of like the physical like comics, but yeah.
I read a lot of e-comics actually, a lot of online comics. I don't know if you're familiar with webtoons or
Yeah, webtoon,
um
yeah.
yeah, I love webtoons. I love Korean comics. I love Chinese comics. I like, don't get me wrong, I like manga, but I'd rather just watch it when it's animated. So when it comes to the
Yeah.
comics, I love comics in colors. So anything of that aptitude I tend to read. And it was called Gotta High School was the series where the main character did
Mm,
taekwondo. And that really set a precedent for me. And that's how I started my journey. What about you?
okay.
You said you know what webtoon is.
That's dope. Yeah, I know webtoon through my wife. She's like big into the like digital art scene, so some of
Okay.
her artists that she looks up to, they have their series on there. So there's a couple series on there. There's one it's kind of superhero-esque, kind of mythical. It's called Urban Animal. That one's super good.
I
I don't know
think
if
I've
you've
heard of
heard of
that one. I haven't watched it yet.
it. Yeah, it's like he can like he's like a chimera, so he can kind of shapeshift into different beasts, and he's like apparently like 1 million years old. But there's a ton
Okay.
of lore baked into it, and it's kind of
Yeah.
got this like fun like Scooby Doo vibe because it's like him and his friends are in a band. It's cool. So like, yeah, a couple different series on Webtoon. Definitely more of the like shonen, like One
Okay.
Piece, Solo Leveling, like all that. Like,
Ooh, Solo
check that.
Leveling.
Yeah, bro.
Solo Leveling initially started as like a Korean comic, right? Before it got animated.
Wasn't it a Webtoon?
Yeah, it was a webtoon. It was a webtoon, and it finally got animated, and I'm
Yeah.
happy to see it get. And the
It,
same thing for Gotta High School, actually. Though they
oh, okay.
ruined it. They ruined Gotta High School. Solo Leveling, they did amazing. Gotta High
Mm.
School, they butchered it in the animation.
I'm gonna have to. You have to send that to me on Webtoon, and I'll check it out.
I'll send it your way.
Yeah, man. No, that's sick. I think it's cool to see kind of how the two worlds are like kind of coming together, like anime and like fitness. And there's so many like clothing brands that are doing collabs, and just like you go to the gym and it's like that dude's got like a one piece hoodie on. Let me say what's up to him, and it's kind of cool. It's like another layer of connection of people.
I think I think that idea of play is very important as humans because it's a lot of people start their like careers or like their hobbies based off of like things that they enjoyed doing in their childhood or even just like dreams that they would have. Like me, I got into martial arts because of a comic, right? Some people they
Yeah.
might want to save the world because they saw like a superhero movie or something like that. Or when I mean save the world, like in this reality, they might want to become like a doctor or like an engineer
Mm,
or something. They take that approach into their careers. And it's no different in the gym, you see your favorite character in a comic or in a TV show and you see them like working and training hard and you see their willpower and you see them just fighting for good and you're like, "Huh, why can't I do that? Like what's stopping me from doing that?" So then you go and you start going to the gym and you start doing your
yeah.
anime training arc and
Yeah, bro.
it's been an inspiration for a lot of people. I can't lie. A lot of my training has been inspired from anime characters and comics. So it's beautiful to see. And fashion is also a form of expression. So again, combining
Yeah.
the two, like you said, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. You got a nice like outfit on today, and I feel like a lot of your like stuff I see on your content, I'm like, okay, yeah, like
Thank you. I
got
I
a
think
got a nice workout.
self-expression.
Yeah,
self-expression is very important in any aspect. Because it's one thing, and this is what I like to preach a bit about. If you don't want me talking about this, but I like to preach
yeah,
about the idea of if everybody has to work for a job and for survival purposes, I think everybody should take care of their health and longevity to like live healthy, live long, so that they don't like have a miserable experience physically. But then, what next, right?
yeah.
If those 2 things are standards, then what do you do as humans outside of that? Like, I feel like life would be boring, right? So, like, I feel like everybody's looking for ways to express themselves. So, fashion is one of those things, but everybody has their own ways of expression. What about you? How do you like to express yourself?
Yeah, a little bit through fashion. I think, like, fashion's one of those things I'm like, "Man, if I had, like, a big old fashion budget, I would have a great time."
Yeah.
So most of my wardrobe, honestly, is just like this. It's like black T-shirts, like jeans, sweatpants, but I'm slowly,
Athletic
like,
wear.
branching out, thrifting a little bit. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff saved on my phone, like, in a folder of, like, jewelry to buy, outfits to get, but, yeah, I
Hey,
don't know.
there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, this honestly, I used to only wear like button up stuff, and then my friend was like, "Dude, you already have tank tops. You have this, just combine it." And I was like, "Oh, okay, wait, this actually like kind of works." So a part of like it is just exploring. So like I'm
Yeah,
very much into the active wear as well. And throw a quick little jacket over your active wear and you have a gym fit and then you could pop up somewhere after the gym with that. So
yeah, exactly.
an athletic wear looks good. I would even argue like working out and bodybuilding is a form of expression. So you're doing that and you're wearing clothes that is expressing that. So there you go.
Yeah, for sure, and I would say, like, that's kinda what got me into content creation recently, is I started kinda posting stuff, like, last December because I was feeling a little bit, like, burnt out and just kind of, like, my creative spirit was just kinda,
Mhm.
like, thrown under the cupboard, under the kitchen sink, and I just kinda, like, put it there, kinda neglected it, and, yeah, I was just like, "I enjoy video editing, I enjoy, like, fitness, let me see if I can do something with that." And
Okay.
so, yeah, a lot of, like, video editing and just trying, like, kinda goofy or just humorous posts is also, like, really, like, fulfilling for that creative spirit in me, you know?
It's igniting the spark.
Yeah, yeah,
I love that.
yeah. And it's cool to see other people's ideas too, like, trying to find that balance of getting ideas for content without just,
Mhm.
like, doom scrolling for 3 hours, you know? Like,
That's a struggle.
yeah,
That's a struggle.
yeah, but it's cool. There's so many creative people out there. It's just like,
It is,
ideas,
and
ideas. Yeah.
I love social media for that regard. I like to look at social media and even your phone. It's Pandora's box, right?
Yeah.
On one hand, you could get lost in doom scrolling and like mindlessly eating away at your healthy dopamine. But on the other hand, it's an outlet. It's an outlet for people to share their stories and share different expressions of that story. Because a lot of people, I don't know if you heard it, there's no one unique human experience. There's just different like fonts. So like a lot of people are sharing
Oh,
similar stories, but just in different layers. And that's where the creativity comes in. It's okay, we're in the same niche. How can I express that differently? And there will
yeah.
be overlap, but it's beautiful being able to see that come out because it's a form of art. At this point, content creation and social media is it's a form of art, of visual art, of digital art, and hence a form of expression.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's sweet. I like that. Different fonts. It's really good. Right. Do you have any like challenges or races or anything that you're kind of working towards right now?
Yes. So I keep telling myself that I'm gonna do this. I think my biggest challenge is I need to bump up my weight a bit. I've been telling myself like initially, I guess for context, before I started going out to the gym, I was like 145. Like I only weighed 145. And then I started to get up into like when I actually worked out consistently and I ate properly, despite traveling, I still put the effort into like my weight training and
Right.
my regime, and I actually managed to get up to like 160, 165.
Dude,
But then I
nice.
kind of plateaued on that. And I think really the thing that's killing me is the nutrition aspect of things because I will say from my experience, I can't say I have the most nutritional knowledge because my experience comes from being on the road all the time.
It's
Right.
hard
I
when
was
you're
on the
doing that.
road. I was traveling. So then like, what did I do? What was my solution to that? So with my job, thankfully everything was expensed, but I also didn't want to eat unhealthy. So I essentially
No.
made like a list of like restaurants that are above, like better than fast food that I could like put together and like eat even when I'm out of town. And I would just go like Chipotle, for instance.
Yeah.
Chipotle was something that was relatively healthy and within balance. And, I got my proportions in. So, I would hit a Chipotle bowl and then after work I would eat and I would just try to find places like that to kind of fill my diet. And that helped. But now that I'm settling back away from as much of the traveling, I'm still busy, but
Uh,
I'm having to learn and experience the actual cooking, the art of cooking, the art of adding more nutritional value myself and not just throwing $20 down on a Chipotle bowl. So
yeah.
that's probably one of my biggest challenges. And my second kind of challenge is finding my community within like my city,
Yeah.
finding different like fitness and wellness clubs that I could partake in. And with that, of course, races and stuff like that. Like last year, I got involved with this flying pig. The flying pig, it's like a 5K. And
Oh,
it's a kind of like fundraiser race for like cancer. So I got involved with that and I want to do more stuff like that or even like Spartan races. But the
yeah.
challenge is to put myself out there because, well, I got to put myself out there, find these events, and then create the time and the space for these events despite my like busy schedule. And that's kind of my challenge, but it's also like the challenge that I like to share because my fitness journey has been nothing but challenges with being on the road.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I'm kind of a little bit in that same boat of just like finding like a tribe of people. Like I think at least there's like a couple run clubs out here, which is nice. But I'm like, okay, I kind of want to find people that are like going to these events, but they're also in content creation. Are you familiar with like the Raw Dog Club?
I wish I was in Texas for that
Bro,
that
it's
that
so sick.
sole reason. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's cool because like you listen to the story of like Noah and Tin and Darren and all those guys like they just kind of like met each other and they're like, oh, you're doing content creation? Like, yeah, me too. And then they can like hold each other accountable and be like, oh, what
Yeah.
if we did this for a video? And having that proximity, like it's cool. We have some of this, we come from the same Amplify community. We have this, like-minded people, but we're all kind of spread out. So to
Yeah.
have somebody like that you can meet up with at the gym would be super dope.
It's hard.
Yeah. Do you
Nah.
guys have like run clubs and stuff, or is it just like the local 5K?
Yeah, no. So recently I've started to explore more. And as I'm like putting that intention to get out more, I've started to actually find and attract more. So
Nice.
I've been throwing out all sorts of intentions, but there's this Area 513 run club that I've joined recently, and there's
Nice.
a couple other like interwoven run clubs that I've been browsing, but really it's just been the Area 513 that I've been getting involved with, and that's been cool. And like you said, trying to find people to go to the gym with that are also into content creation has been hard, but I've been slowly building up my tribe, and it's almost to the point where I'm almost having to start. I'm pondering an idea of just starting to start things myself. Like maybe I'll be that local like creator that's inspiring people to get into content creation, and it's slowly framing in. It's slowly coming together. I'm slowly starting to meet more creators or people that are going to these fitness clubs or even just being consistent with their own health. Like I'm starting to find all these different people, and it's starting to click together. For instance, every Monday for the past month, me and a few friends that are also about the grind and wellness and elevating their lives and even a little bit of content creation. We've been coming
Yeah.
together every Monday and having like co-working sessions. So we'll
Mm.
go and we'll meet at like a public library and we'll all just like do work together. And we'll pick each other's brain if we need help. But like just having like a space that like supports growth and elevating each other has just been essential for me. I'm trying to find those spaces, but I'm also working to being a host and create spaces like that myself.
I like that. I like that co-working idea. Where did you meet those people at? Just like at the 5K or?
Yeah, so I have to say it's because of my friend. I call him Captain Social, and I call him Captain Social because he's been doing content creation for a really long time.
Mm,
And technically, so have I. I just didn't commit enough to it in the past when I did. Like, I think I was like 13 or 14 wearing a mask at a park doing pull-ups. Like, I think that was like how
nice.
I started doing my content creation. And he got really into the parkour community. His name is
Mm,
Ethan Guzman. Some of you may know him as like Nonstop Parkour, if you've ever seen that name pop up on YouTube. But he got really
probably.
big into the athlete level of parkour on being on like World Chase Tag and stuff. And he got really
Oh,
good at that. And we knew each other as mutuals but never talked after we met, right? And it was just recently, like last year on New Year's, as I shot him an invite because I saw he was doing some stuff with acting, with stunts, with being in the gym, with content creation. I was like, you know what? Now that I'm in my adult life, why don't I start like making more meaningful connections with people that are aligned with me? So I was like,
Yeah.
hey, like you want to come over to this like New Year's session where, we're gonna look at the our year and plan for the next one. And we've been talking ever since. And he kind of welcomed me into his community, which funny enough was just at an esporta gym, but he's connected with
Nice.
so many different people that are connected to like health industries, acting, content creation. And that's kind of like he's been like a bridge for me. And then I've
Yeah.
also been bridging my own unique community as well. And it's been a fun process.
That's sick. Yeah, I love like when you mentioned like, hey, you know what? I'm in my adult life. Let me just like reach out to this person. Like I think that's one of the coolest unlocks to realize like you can just go do stuff. You can just
Mhm.
reach out to people. And I think even for like grown like 30, 40-year olds, they might not realize it or they might just be like, I don't want to do that. But I think it unlocks so much just to
Mhm.
be like, this is a person that I want to get to know, or maybe I know somebody in the middle. Hey, can you introduce me to that person? And just kind of like the doors it can open from just meeting new people wherever you go. It's so cool.
Just have that intention to, I guess, connect because free will is a thing. Like you could, like, it could be as simple as you sending a DM to somebody that you respect that's local to you on Instagram. Say, hey, I see you're really into content creation. I'm into content creation too. I'd love to like go for coffee and like pick your brain or something like that. Like it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I feel like society kind of pins us away from each other and just doing these like meaningful human connections. But it is really that simple sometimes, and just taking the step to say hello. And
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing, and I think we need more spaces to even bring people together in that space.
definitely. Yeah, if anybody's watching this that's in the Cincinnati area, meet up with Cameron.
My DMs are open.
Yeah.
I'm building out my own space, and I love meeting like-minded individuals that are really about growing. It's almost a love language to me, honestly, that's
Mhm.
growing and supporting the people around me. I couldn't ask for anything else.
Yeah. Heck yeah. That's super cool. I feel like have you heard of the Sweat Pals app?
Sweat pals, tell me more.
It's like it's a place to put your community. So it's basically like a platform. If you have a community, you put your
Mhm.
community on their platform and then it'll kind of just be like a hub where you can post like we're having this event and you can have like invites on there. Um like I've seen certain like wellness events and run clubs, but they'll have a little link in their bio and it's their like Sweat Pals link and it'll open up the app and then it'll have a calendar with all their events and it'll have like past events.
Huh. Is is it like Eventbrite, or is it's more of like a community
It's
hosting
like
platform?
Eventbrite, but it's also like more open community. Like Eventbrite, I feel like is more like whoever just gets sent the invite, right? Or like
Yeah.
Partyful is like only the people you send it to. But this is more like open and it's also only, I think it's only for like fitness and wellness events. So
Oh,
it's not like
okay.
birthday parties and stuff. Yeah. So you'll
So
see like pickleball clubs and stuff on there.
okay, none of that. I'm writing that down. Did I
Yeah.
did I delete it? I deleted it. Hold on, Sweat Pals. So have you ever did you have experience with Google Plus when that was still around?
Google Plus.
Yeah, Google Plus. It was like
I
kind
don't
of
think
like a
so.
community platform that like Google had, and it's kind of sounding like that, but
Mm.
different. So Sweat Pals for fitness
Yeah, I'm
and
curious if there's like communities
for.
on there in Cincinnati because there's several where I'm at.
I'm gonna have to look that up. No, thank you for that. That's
Yeah, it's dope.
you go by Ken or Kenneth.
Um, recently Ken.
Okay. Well, thank
Yeah,
you for that, Ken.
yeah, for sure. It's yeah, it's cool. Some of them are I think I would say most of them that I see are like free. Some of them are paid if it's like they're renting a venue for like a pool party, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, that's beautiful. Well, for me, finding places, and even when I start like hosting, because that's something like
mhm.
next month, I'm going to start hosting like wellness walks every like Saturday morning to just go for a walk and just decompress after a long week. So that's an
Nice.
initiative that I want to run.
I love that. I feel like yeah, let's normalize walk clubs. There's a lot of run clubs, but like some people like especially on a Saturday morning, like walking's great.
It's amazing. Touch grass. it's a,
That's
it's an
grass,
amazing
yeah.
way. It's an amazing way to decompress.
That's cool. Do you have like a route that you have in mind or?
So I have a few different ones. It's actually going to be more of a. This one's going to be in nature. I don't like cities are cool. Don't get me wrong. I like the city, but for decompression purposes, it needs to be some sort of like nice trail that's like
Yeah,
either
yeah.
in like on a nature trail, like a hike, or like on a I don't say private road, but like a what is it, man-made like walking trail,
Yeah, kinda like a
essentially. So it
paved nature
yeah.
area.
Yeah, paved like, there's one near, like, where I live, and it's just a mile walk, a mile back, and it's kind of secluded from, like, the main street. There are,
Yeah.
like, houses being built off near it, but it's pretty quiet. It's a nice little trail. Just having these green spaces, it's gonna be in some sort of green space. Having places like this is I feel like it's essential to regulate your mind and your body. Because well, it's one thing to, like, take care of your body, but, like, what are we doing for our minds, right? Walks is something that I find that is really helpful. And that's gonna lead me to that because I've seen you're very into fitness. You're in the mindset thing. You did that
Yeah.
not was it 90-day pull-up challenge?
100 days, yeah.
100-day pull-up challenge. That I remember you doing that. That's very like motivating. But my question to you is outside of just like motivation, what do you do within like your own life to create a space to like decompress or create a space for your health and your mind?
Mm, yeah. I guess out of necessity, I got really into just, like, anything about like your mindset or the power you have over your mind or the power you have over your thoughts. I'd say through like high school, went through some pretty like rough, just like lonely, dark times, and just kind of like figuring out who I was, right? Like all of us through school when, growing up, teenagers, we don't know who we are a little bit. And I'd say out of necessity, I just got like super into just like kind of like not necessarily motivational quotes, but just kind of really deep quotes that you would find maybe on like Pinterest or Tumblr or in a book, maybe like stoicism type stuff. And eventually got into just like a lot of just like personal growth podcasts, honestly. And that was just a really cool world to kind of just get into back 20, 2015, 2016, right after high school. And so kind of out of necessity, I just kind of sought out like how can I just be in a better mind space because like was yeah, that's the word. Kind of just miserable and I was just like, it's kind of a choice. Obviously there's a lot of other factors, but like just realizing the fact is so empowering that just like it is a choice to just kind of reframe your mindset of your circumstances and how you perceive life. And it's very freeing, very liberating. And so nowadays, fast forward to now, I would say what helps me most with like mental health would be just finding places to be still. So like going on a walk, like we're talking about, going to the gym. Sometimes I just don't have any music going or I'll have like a podcast. Sometimes it's like I need music to get through a leg day because it's like it's heavy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, but sometimes I'll just no music, and maybe I'll just put in my earbuds to black out the gym music. But yeah, I would say I've been getting recently also into meditation and just kind of like sitting and breathing and have maybe a mantra that I'll do, just like repeat it over and over with each breath. And after I open my eyes, I'm just like can just think a lot more clearly. And I feel like for myself, I'm a little bit more on the ADHD, like undiagnosed ADHD, more like minus the hyper part, but just like brain is always running 1,000 miles a minute.
Mhm,
So it's like necessary. It's kind of like my mental medication. Just like need to sit down and like not move and just breathe.
mhm.
And so that's helped me a ton. And I think that's why maybe like the gym is so therapeutic and walking and running because I can just kind of like let my mind just go um, while I'm moving. I think is the key. If I'm just like sitting down, maybe like on my couch scrolling, my mind is still going, but I'm
Yeah.
not. Yeah. Um,
Uh,
but I would
well,
say
thank you
like
for
yeah, make sure of movement and then just finding place and time to be still.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's very essential, and thank you for sharing that. It's very essential to create these spaces for yourself to just simply be present and to be mindful. And I think I came to a similar realization. I think I started to get more into the like I did martial arts, but I
Mhm.
think before I even started to like grow as a human being, it took me learning to sit with myself, I guess, to be more like mindful of my thoughts. And I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of like motivational interviewing.
Maybe. What is
It's
that?
kind of like you're like an interview, except you're trying to get to like the root of a problem to drive growth. So I started to apply that to myself. Let's say I was like, when I was younger, I used to get like sad, for instance. I was like, okay, why am I sad? Like, why am I having these thoughts? And then I just start like hammering myself and like tracing down these thoughts to like the root of the problem. And then I would go and like override that with like a affirmation, like, okay, I understand I'm feeling this type of way now, but we're going to take these steps and work towards growth. And then I started to do those steps that I would kind of plan out. And it was almost like I like rewired and re-engineered the negative thoughts into the positive thoughts. But that only happened because I allowed places for myself to just sit and like think and ponder. And that's lots of forms. You could go for a walk with no music. You could go to the gym and just feel your body. You can journal. You could audio journal. You could just
Mm.
breathe and meditate. And just it's so essential to create these types of spaces. And I think that's actually how my content creation journey first started, was sharing that journey. Before I even started posting fitness stuff, I was posting deep questions. Like you said you were very into deep quotes. I used to try to post like deep questions because that's what
Mhm.
allowed me to grow, was just sitting with myself and pondering over different things. So I just started to like shoot questions out to like the world and the internet. And now I'm trying to like mix the questions with the advice, with the fitness, with the wellness, and that's come together to become like what my brand is now.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how do you implement this into your brand? Because you're into fitness, you're in the mindset, and you have this experience. How are you utilizing that to form the content that you have now? Do you feel like you're doing more like fitness stuff and you're still trying to figure out how to do more of the like mindset and the quotes and the deep thoughts, or how are you
Yeah,
approaching that?
that's a great question. And I love your stuff as well, where you're just
Thank
kind
you.
of like sitting with like the lighter or the candle and you're like, question time or whatever, you know.
I
I'm
call
like,
it
all right,
candle
let's go.
talks. I
I
call it
sit
candle
down.
talks.
Yeah. I love those.
Thank you.
And you mentioned like audio journaling. That's super helpful for me too, just to get all of it, just brain dump. But to answer your question, I would say I'm still kind of figuring out because I feel like when I post more mindset heavy stuff, um, sometimes it doesn't perform as well. And maybe it's just because
Okay.
the format that I'm serving it on. Um, and so sometimes I'll just try and like combine it with fitness stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like just kind of finding how I want to present it, but also finding like the audience that resonates with that is a little bit of a process. Um, and I'm like, I look at like Noah Roulette's brand is all very like fast, like spontaneous, just like screaming at the camera and just
Yeah.
fun all over the place. And I'm like, okay, like I'm not like that high energy. But I do think I'm a generally just kind of like fun, like, yeah, like let's do whatever, kind of like goofy, humorous guy. So I want that to come across in my content as well, so that my audience like knows who I am in the
Mhm.
most authentic way. So keeping it light, and then so then that goes into like but I also like to slow down and have these deep quotes and maybe with like a darker filter. But I'm like, okay, is my audience gonna vibe with both of those?
Yeah,
So I'm still
it's a
trying to figure it
clash.
out.
You know,
So
I totally get you, and it's hard because, like, well, let me make sure you don't have anything else that you're gonna add
no,
on to
yeah, that's
that.
pretty much it. Yeah.
It's hard because it's almost like they're completely opposite in a way, or maybe we just don't like have the tools to combine them. But like, again, like I started off, like I think the first platform that I started posting to was TikTok, actually.
Mhm.
And I would post a question and it'd be a video of me like driving on the road, and I'd throw out the question. And then at night I would go and I would talk about that question in front of a candle, and I called it Candle Talks. And
Mm.
then I was like, huh, I'm doing this, but I want to be a fitness influencer. But how am I going to do that? Um, because I see a lot of what's in our faces with the fitness influencers are these like super like high, pumped up energies of like doing fitness and being like super aggressive. And I don't think that's me personally. I think I'm motivating, but I'm relatively rounded. Like, yes, I love a good pump. I love going to the gym. I love lifting heavy. I think when I was like 160, I was able to squat like 375. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, casual flex, whatever. But, um, I love fitness, but I love that idea of balance, and that's what I want my brand to bring out is that balance between your mind, your body, and just like your well being. So I can't just call myself a fitness influencer, or like a mindset coach. Like I like to call it wellness because you need
Mm,
all these different aspects, but it's hard to broadcast it when you have all these different things that you want to like represent. So it's a challenge, and I'm just now exploring that mix, and it's starting to clash a little bit less. I know in the beginning it would be like full on quote video and then full on fitness lift video, and now I'm like I combine it together with okay, I work a 9 to 5, right? I've traveled for the past 4 to 5 years. I've been super busy on the road. How did I take care of my mind? How did I take
yeah.
care of my body, like, despite that, despite being super busy? So that's how I've combined it because I'm doing all of this while doing this 9 to 5, and that's at least been my approach to combining it, is wellness under a busy schedule. How do you regulate yourself, your mind, your body, your well-being, and express yourself on top of that, despite being a 9 to 5 or despite being an entrepreneur, whatever, because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, health is wealth and you should never like be too busy to take care of yourself. Like, that's the message I shifted to, and that's how I glued everything together is through that. So find that glue.
Mm.
Find that glue. Because I will say I've been seeing the comedy aspect. I think there was one video, I think the caption or the hook was not sure if I did this trend right, or not sure if I
Oh,
did
yeah,
the
the
Strava one
most
right. And I was
recent,
like,
like,
okay,
Strava one.
yeah, and that's like that's humor because you're adding
Yeah.
there's this trend, I'm adding my own touch to it, not sure if I did it right, and then you added your own little, like, twist to it. So,
Yeah.
like, I like that. Like, that type of stuff I think is gonna stick,
Yeah.
and that's a way to express yourself and that comedy aspect that you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I have fun with those. I gotta do something that's like, all right, tailored towards the audience with value add and like engaging, and then I'm like, I want to do a funny one now, like for me.
I love that.
You said something about like, you should never be too busy to not have time for your health because health is wealth. What would you say, how did you get to that kind of state of mind? I guess, how is that related to your overarching, like, why? What drives you to have such conviction about that?
Yeah, so I am no stranger to injuries, right? I don't wanna say my back locked up, like, twice over my fitness and, like, just health career, just my life. My back's locked up twice, and I remember there was also this injury that happened, I think when I was also training martial arts. I think we were doing a partnered stretch, and whatever reason, like, I'm, back on the ground, my other leg's flat, my other leg's getting brought up to my chest, and the, sensei was like, "Alright, release, right? But you're supposed to like release slowly. My leg was all the way up to my knee and my partner had just like fully let me go. Like,
Oh,
yeah. And I had like a very bad like hip thing that went on and it lasted a really long time.
yeah.
And I still had to work. Like I went to class when I could when I was in town, but outside of that, I was gone like 2, 3 weeks out of the year, or I'm sorry, out of the month. I would be gone on the road in a completely different town, staying in a hotel room, which if you've ever been in a hotel room by yourself for like long periods of time, it is not fun, right? So I had a physical injury to deal with. I had stress that I had to deal with. And I was like, okay, how do I not go insane?
Yeah.
And how do I not like lose my health? And because what I realized is if you put off your health, it's going to come back to bite you. Both injuries that I've had, there was two big injuries that I've had. Like the back one, yeah, that was fine, but like that recovered pretty well. But that hip injury, really bad. And then I had an adductor injury as well. And what I noticed is if I just left it to heal on its own, it didn't heal, right? Because if I'm doing my 9 to 5 and I'm resting but not actually doing any recovery exercises, then that injury is just going to stay there. And what happened is in both of those situations, I'm traveling, I wasn't taking care of my health, and the injury just kept getting worse. And then also that added to my stress as well because now I'm doing physical labor and then I'm also stressed and working these long hours. So what I realized is you have to take care of your health and you have to treat it first because if you don't, it's gonna carry over into everything else, right?
Yeah.
Because I was able to reverse the effects of those injuries in my hotel room. I was able to regulate my stress by if you didn't guess it already, I say this a lot. I went for a walk. I would go for walks. I would go and like every town I was in, I would just go and find a park and just go for a walk after work. And just kind of like day by day, whether that was like working out in the hotel room or if the hotel had a gym, I would do that. I would bring my journal. I would go for a walk and all these things. I basically made the system for myself to stay sane and stay healthy and recover from these injuries that I had. So then even when I came back, I was, I was at my, well, I don't say peak, but I maintained myself relatively well. And
Yeah.
that's my why. And I want to share that because I've been there. I've been busy. I've been on the road. I've been a slave to the corporate world, but despite that, I still stayed in shape. Actually, beyond shape, I'd say I look, relatively fit, relatively well.
Yeah.
Despite always being on the road, I would come back after being gone. My gym buddies would be like, "Hey, like, where have you been? I haven't seen you. You've been in the void." I was like, "You dude, you still look shredded." I was like, "Oh, well, I mean, thank you. I guess. I guess." But long story short, that's my authority is having experienced that, and I wanna share that now because
Yeah.
everything that I did related to my mind and taking care of my stress and taking care of my body, both just physical gains and even just, like, the mobility work to de-age, longevity practices, and
Right.
that became my glue.
Yeah. It's really cool to see. I feel like longevity and mobility are becoming more popular than maybe they used to be. I feel like if you were like, yeah, I'm gonna go do yoga, people would be like, why are you a yogi? Like, and now it's like there's so much just like, yeah, like let's, gotta stretch out your back, you gotta go on a walk. And it's like becoming more normal just to like take care of your mobility and
I
just
love
like
that.
live, like be healthy by the time, not just like live long, but like be healthy and be able to
Yeah,
move your body even when you're older. So that's really cool to
quality.
see. Yeah. Quality of life.
Quality. And then I used to be I would say I hated on, like, every other thing but weightlifting, but I very much was like, "No, you have to go to the gym, like, 4 times a week, you have to
Yeah.
lift super heavy weights," and then I got injured, and then I had to find, like, other ways to still take care of my health. So, like, walking, power walking. I didn't think that was hard until I started power walking because, if you have an injury, the only way that injury is going to recover is if you promote blood circulation to that area because that
Right.
allows nutrients to hit it. So I started going for walks. I started to do like prehab and like rehab and mobility exercises. Then I really started to take that approach and apply it broadly, like even Pilates, like any exercise that's promoting like blood circulation to your joints, to your body,
Hmm.
allowing your heart to and blood to flow. Like that's really all you need to like live long. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. I've condensed my workout to be like 45 minutes to an hour a day, like 3 times a week. And then I
Nice.
go for walks as well between that. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be anything crazy to add an extra 20, 30, 40 years onto your life. But not doing anything while sitting at a desk job and dealing with that stress, yeah, no,
Nope.
that'll reduce your lifespan.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love
Yeah.
the movement.
Yeah. Any movement's better than no movement.
Absolutely.
What was it like growing up? Did you have like siblings that were active, or your parents like big into just being healthy, or were you kind of like that pioneer that was like, I'm gonna go be the healthiest Cameron out there? What did that look like for you?
As far as I know, I'm the pioneer.
Hmm.
Despite what my dad may say about his time in high school and
His glory
doing, like,
days.
football maybe, yeah, my parents, my sister, they weren't really super into, like, fitness, my mom will go for walks at least,
That's
and
good.
that's relatively healthy, but outside of that, I'm kind of the pioneer in the family. It's almost to the point where my mom was like, "Oh, don't lift too heavy, don't hurt yourself," and, like, "It's okay, mom, this is what I train for," and then I
Yeah.
go and
Yeah.
hurt myself anyways, but that's besides the point. Yeah, no, I've been the pioneer, and I'm gonna pass that down and that, like, conviction to my kids and even, like, my partner. I kind of expect some form of, like, health. You don't gotta be in the, like, gym every day. You don't have to be, like, lifting super hard and, like,
Hmm.
weight training, but do something. Go for a
Like take
walk,
care of
do
yourself.
Pilates,
Yeah.
do
Yeah. Do
yoga,
something.
do something, and then, like, on your mental aspect, I don't know, journal, read, meditate, find faith, just anything. These are the tools that make you live long and live happy, that quality of life.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with my grandma on the Filipino side a few months ago, last fall, I want to say. And I was just like, I'm kind of like stressed about this or I'm anxious about this. And she was just like, I was like, I can tell she's going to live a long time because of her answer. She's like, why are you stressed? And she's like, that's bad for your heart. You're going to get a headache. Like, you don't have time for that. And I was like, you're right. I don't have time for headaches. Like, what am I doing? And
That's so
I
real.
was like, I love that. Just like, yeah, just like that's just high blood pressure. Like, don't stress about that. It's okay. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right, you're right. And
I
so
love that.
I feel like, yeah, it's super true what you're saying about just like, find time to decompress, find time to move, and just like it makes sense. If you're running and you're driving it crazy for its whole lifespan, like it's not gonna last very long. You're gonna bump into stuff. You're gonna wear out the brakes really fast. But if you're just, not to say you have to drive 10 miles an hour your whole life, because that would be boring. You're not gonna go anywhere. But, it's kind of like common sense. Like don't wreck your mind and your body.
Take care of it. And if you don't do the maintenance thing, because that same car analogy, right? You could
Yeah,
drive 10
maintenance.
miles an hour, but you're still gonna need oil changes. You're still gonna
Yeah,
gonna need to swap out parts. But if you make sure that your body, you treat it like a well-oiled machine, what you put into it, making sure that it's taken out every now and then, and it's loosened up so that it can drive and function. We have to treat our bodies like that too.
yeah,
So maintenance is very important.
absolutely. Easier to stay healthy than to get healthy.
Oh yeah, no, if you stay healthy, you're saving yourself a lot of medical bills for as long as possible because on America, medical bills are ridiculous. So
I don't
health
want
is
to talk about
wealth.
it.
Health is wealth. And if we're talking wealth, that includes your savings too. So all the money that you're saving,
Mm,
not having to go to the hospital, yeah, you're doing pretty good.
yeah. There's this guy I follow for some like financial stuff, and he's like, I think it's him. Maybe it's some other guy on a podcast. I don't remember. Somebody. But they were like they have their guilt-free spending category. And it was like, uh, I can spend whatever I want within a reasonable amount on health stuff. And I was like, oh, I really like that. I was like, it's
Mm,
not just like random frivolous like piece of jewelry or whatever, even though that stuff's great. He was like, but if it's something, maybe it's like a red light therapy machine, or maybe it's like I have a little like $20 acupuncture mat. I
I
call it
have
my
one too.
lazy
Yep.
call it my lazy yoga mat because I can just lay there and get some health benefits without moving.
Hmm.
And I was just like, oh, I like that. Having people might say, oh, I don't want to spend my money on that, but it's like I'd rather spend my money on stuff that's making my life better, making me feel better versus spending probably more money in the future on like all this medical bills and
Yep.
medication.
I like that mindset. I like that mindset. Financial management is important too.
Yeah.
And if you're spending it on things that are gonna reduce your bills and injuries in the future, why not?
Mhm.
So I like
It's
that.
Yeah. And you're just like, if your finances are in whack, you're gonna be stressed. And like again, going back to just being stressed, high cortisol all the time, like not good for your body. So like
Not good at all.
absolutely. Yeah.
What got you? Oh, I'm gonna hit you with my
Yeah, yeah. Hit
question.
me.
So what started your fitness journey? Right. We talked about what started. Like, what do you do to start like regulating your mind? What got you into like doing fitness?
Yeah. So I grew up always being like the skinniest kid in the room. Um, by the time I was in, I want to say like eighth grade, maybe like freshman, it's like, oh, like I have visible abs if I flex really hard. And I would always just have everybody be like, ah, you're lucky, you're fast metabolism, but it's gonna run out, all yada yada. And I grew up just running like track. I did some track and field events, and I did sprints. I did hurdles for a little bit, and then I
Okay.
did pole vault for a season, but I never got over like the minimum height, so I never competed at a meet.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I was like, okay, I have asthma, so I don't want to do like long distance running, and I don't like contact sports. I don't like, tackling or bumping into each other playing defense with
Yeah.
basketball. I'm not a fan of it. Plus, I was always like the narrow, skinny kid, so it wasn't advantageous either for me. But yeah, I would always be like, oh yeah, like I want to stay fit. I want to stay healthy. I've just kind of always had that idea of like, I'm going to live to be 100. Why not? And so I would do like push-ups in my room or like crunches as a kid, just like, yeah, I'm going to be fit. But I would say I didn't get like serious into the gym until probably like college. I had a buddy who was getting into like the Kino Body program, just like intermittent fasting and like
Okay.
reverse pyramid training and all that. And I was like, oh, like dude's kind of getting bulky. Like that's pretty cool. Like I'm gonna go with him to the gym. And so,
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of how I got introduced to all of the different movements and stuff and what is a rep range and what is this, what is that? Because prior to that, I was like, all I know how to do with a dumbbell is like a dumbbell curl. I don't know what else you do with it. And I don't know how to use any of these machines or what machine works what muscle group. I had no idea. So for me, it was one of my buddies in college and kind of mixed that with a bunch of just like content I found on YouTube, figured out what worked for me, and figured out what exercises I was like, I don't want to do that one, and let me find another one that works the same muscles. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, just kind of figuring out what works for me, what is sustainable for me too. If you pick
That's
all the,
key. That's key.
yeah, if you're like, this influencer has a great physique, but all the workouts they do, I hate, then like you're not going to stick with it. So you got
Yeah.
to figure out something else, or just maybe tweak it. So yeah, I would say just like a mixture of having people around me who are into it and having the open mind of just like, maybe I can improve or how can I improve? Is this something that I want to continue to do? And kind of like similar to you is like I started packing on muscle and I was like, oh, I was told I wasn't going to be able to gain weight because of my metabolism. And I was just going to be skinny until my metabolism ran out. And then I don't know, be fat or something. But I was like, I want to prove that wrong,
Yeah.
And so I just kind of kept going and kind of just like you got up to 165. So right now I'm like, I think this morning I was 167, but I'm always bouncing around. Yesterday I was 164. And it's like the heaviest, bulkiest I've ever been in my life. And I'm like, cool. Maybe let's go to 170, see what that feels like.
Hey, there we go. That's my goal. And you look super jacked. And I think we
Oh,
can
thank
relate to that too. Relate to that and like having the high metabolism,
you. Yeah.
abs coming out of abs coming out of nowhere, poofed. I think I willed my abs into existence. I think I was like, huh. I feel like a girlfriend would really like want me to have abs, and all of a sudden I woke up and I had abs, and then I, I
Really?
think that was the timeline I remember. And then
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
got older, and I was like, okay, I don't want these to leave. Let me train for that. And oh my gosh, I could actually like gain muscles because I used to be really skinny. Like I used to be like bird chested. You could see my like heartbeat through my chest, and I was like, okay,
Dang.
I gotta
Wow.
fix that. So I can definitely relate to you on that of that come up.
Yeah. I think generally a lot of people have like resentment or like, you're skinny, you're so lucky. And it's just like, bro, like we're here, right? I'm here, you're here. I'm trying to get here, you're trying to get here. So like I could call you lucky because I'm trying to gain weight and you're trying to lose weight. So it's like we're all on our journey. Um,
We both are hard, and we both have to put in the work for it, you know?
yep, they both require work, absolutely. I think that kind of on another note, a little bit different, but like I see some people that are like enhanced athlete and they're like totally open about it. They're like, yep, I use stuff to get big. And then people forget that you can't just juice and then like wake up jacked. It's still, you have to like put in all the work. So I think, again, kind of a different note, but like it still requires a ton of work and commitment and tracking all the stuff.
It's an XP booster, don't get me wrong, but you still do have to actually do the movement. You won't just get jacked if you, like, don't. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I would just worry for my other health effects after that if I were to
I know. Yeah, that's why I don't do that.
I'm gonna get as natty as possible. Really, I kinda wanna get even more jet like, you said, I wanna get to, like, 170, 175, but, like, be purely jacked with that and then be able to show that, like, "Hey, like, I did this all natural from going from 145 they're like 170, 175, and I'm just, I'm that guy. Like that's my goal. I wanna get to that,
Yeah.
and I want my journey to be like an inspiration to people to know that it's possible, and that's why I like this podcast. You're interviewing people to like get to know their story, so that somebody out there resonates with that story. They know they're not alone because they see that it can be done.
Mm,
So I love
absolutely.
that.
Yeah. It's cool. I feel like I really enjoy it. It's a cool way to get to know people. I feel like get to know people a little bit through their content or through maybe you interact on DMs or comments, but like this, like you wouldn't get this unless we lived locally and we met up
Yeah.
somewhere. So it's really cool. And it gets the listeners to be able to have that conversation as well, to kind of be a little spectator, if you will, on the, yeah, I don't know.
Because it's an intimate conversation. It's like one to one, and anybody listening, I want to say they're both a spectator, but they're not because like, I feel like we're actually actively having a conversation as opposed to like one video giving like an educational tip or trick or whatever. It's a
Yeah.
conversation. It's more organic. That's the term I was looking for.
Right. Yeah. I think that's why I enjoy podcasts a lot, is just because I feel like I really get to know them. That and like vlogs. Do you follow like Alphalete or like their founder at all?
Alphalete?
Alphalete, yeah, like the clothing brand.
I do not.
It's cool. They're out of like Houston, Texas, I want to say.
Okay.
And the founder started just like being on YouTube, just like here's my workout, and then he started a gym and apparently disappeared for a bit, and then he came back, started a clothing brand. I think he started the clothing brand before too.
Okay.
But it's crazy to see where he's at now. But he does a lot of vlogs, and it's cool because it's not like over edited. So by the end
Yeah.
of like the 25 minutes or whatever, I'm like, I feel like I just hung out with Christian for like a whole day. That's dope. And he's like,
That's
here's the
cool.
behind the scenes. I'm launching my energy drink, or and here's what I got today, and I got a call with my designer for this next drop. And it's just I love like just behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like I'm just hanging out.
That reminds me of YouTube. I used to be very into like YouTube and like long form content. But I'm also a victim to the rot, the doom scrolling that's messed up my
Yeah.
relationship with like the longer form videos. But I do want to start getting back into both the consumption of like longer form videos, but also like creating long form videos as well. And do you experiment at all with YouTube, long form, or have you been mainly targeting the short form like TikTok and Instagram?
Yeah, not yet. My only content on YouTube is really these podcasts. I think it'd be really fun to get into like long form, like maybe vlogging or maybe just like longer conversations. Maybe like I don't know, solo podcast maybe, or have you seen those
Mm.
where it's just like one person just like talking and it's just like long
Oh,
form?
don't get me in front of a
Yeah.
big yap session. Don't get me in front of a solo podcast. I'll just yap.
Uh, there's this dude, I think it's like him and his dog. I forget what it's called. It's like Gooby and Doobie or something, but
Gooby and Dooby. Okay.
something like that. But he'll just ask like philosophical questions or just like life, just like deep life stuff. And he's got a cool perspective. I think he used to be like a doctor and he was like,
Hmm.
I don't want to do this. I want to just create content. And so it's kind of cool. He was like burnt out or something. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think
Burnout
it would
is
be cool
real.
to get into like longer form YouTube for sure.
I want to do that. I think like with the well, let's see. I need to do research on like the physical long form, but I feel like just like the mindset and the motivation stuff, or like you do that. You could talk more about that in the long form. I think I
Yeah.
might be able to do that with my candle talks instead of having to cut everything. I just yeah, I just yap, but like more segmented, and I think that'll be my form. I think I put together one topic a week that I go over, that does well. I'm just gonna like do a long form video like the next week or something on YouTube, and I think that gets me experience advertising to both, but
Mm.
it needs to be a little bit more quality for long form. So that's something I want to dabble in. I highly recommend that for you as well. I mean, you're already
Yeah.
doing it. You got the one up on me. You're doing the podcast part. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
No, I totally get that though, like having to cut your candle talks. 'Cause I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna do a talking head about this topic. And then I'm like, go to editing and I'm like, how do I have 7 minutes of content to edit right now? I need to get this to like 25 seconds. Like,
Yeah, it's
dang
kind
it.
of the attention span is of a lot of viewers these days is it's hard to work with, you know. If you don't capture their attention in the first like 4 seconds, you're done. And then if it's longer than like 30 seconds, you're probably done maybe. Sometimes you get up to like 60, but I will say though, I did notice on TikTok at least, I did get a lot of growth from that combination of like, or maybe it's just because I posted 3 times a day, but I had like the question and then the candle talk. And I did that like every day for like 3 months. And I went from like 200 followers to like 1,000. And then I was there. And then I went off into the void and I'm still trying to recover from that because I
Yeah.
didn't post for like, I think it went to 3 years. Yeah. So no, both my TikTok and my Instagram are both like algorithm dead. And I wonder if that's actually what is stopping some of my like reach because they both died, and I'm reviving them, so I have an additional climb to do now.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Maybe you could like make a new one and then just start posting all the stuff you already have and made and
Then
just
I
kind of
have to
like, and don't delete the old one, but just maybe like see, okay, is this one doing better?
I
And
could
if
do
it,
that
yeah.
would give me that would. I have been contemplating a name change too, though, of something that would be fun and slightly on brand and would show more personality. I thought about changing my name to like the Whimsical Lightskin or the Wellness Lightskin or something because those both are like funny and like personality, but it still like encompasses what I do. But I don't think I'll do that. I'll just have it be an alias. So if you're watching, my other alias is the Whimsical Lightskin.
Maybe we'll listen to this podcast like a year in the future and be like, oh yeah, that's his current username. He did
No, that
change
would be
that.
so cool. That is so cool. I'm soft launching it here
Soft
because I
launch,
don't
yeah.
think I've said it on any of my videos yet. So
Nobody
soft
take
launch.
it. Nobody take it. What is your definition of a successful, like health wise? If you were to say, like, this is my definition of being successful in my health walk of my life, what does that look like?
My definition of health is your body not rejecting you to do like basic things like
Mm,
going up the stairs, you know, you even on a survival purpose, like I don't know, you're getting robbed, you need to go for like a quick mile run to like get away, like in an emergency situation. Your organs are functioning and actually digesting food properly and like getting rid of food. Um, as well as I was gonna say something, but going up the stairs. I don't know if I said that.
yeah.
Going up the being able to go up the stairs and not, like, ridiculously wheezing. I don't think I'm not gonna base it off of, like, what your body looks like. I'm gonna base it off of functionality. Is
Mm,
your body consuming properly? Is it releasing properly? And in a survival scenario, are you able to get out of said situation? Or even that's gonna go even further to when, like, I have kids, or to when you have kids. Are you able to play with them? Are you able to like physically keep up with them at least to an extent? Is your knees healthy enough to do that? And then are you able to protect them from danger? So I look at health as a functionality standpoint, I guess, and less so like the
yeah.
physical aesthetics point.
Yeah. I'm curious about the survivor one. I wasn't expecting that. Was that just like the ability to run away or?
Well, really, so a lot of my training, even though like it would be in like a hotel room, I always would train it for different survival situations. So I like to have that like kind of like explosive, like I take an explosive approach to my training with the
Mm,
time that I have. Like even when I'm doing a pull up, like I'll go down slow and pop up fast, right? So if I
yeah.
needed to like climb up something in an emergency situation, I could do that. If I needed to like push or pull somebody out of the way, I could do that. If I needed to get from point A to B, I want to be able to do that. If I needed to, I remember there was this point. I guess I'll give a personal example. There was this
Yeah.
time when I was like younger, and me and my friends were going for a walk, and we were going out in front of this like McDonald's parking lot. Um, and there was a car that was kind of pulled out, and they were almost out into the street, but there was still enough space for us to walk. And they were only looking in like one direction, or sorry, they were looking in like one direction. And I'm like, okay, we got a bit. Let's go in front of them. So we're walking in front of them. They don't look back before they pull out. So
Uh,
I'm actually like physically in front of their car as they're like putting on the gas to move. And in that quick second, I had to kind of like spring myself forward to like jump out in front of it. And that got me out of that situation. Just
Mm,
being able to quickly like react to that. And I feel there's
yeah.
a lot of random situations where you might need to enact speed or strength to get out of a situation. Hell, if the zombie apocalypse happened for whatever reason, that's like an extreme scenario. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if I like to put my body in a ability to protect myself and the ones that I care for,
Mhm.
as well as just again quality of life. I don't want my body to be like aching and in pain from going upstairs or from laying down and getting out of bed. So functionality, how functional is my body both for strength and speed purposes, but even just the inner workings, and am I able to eat food and like my body also doesn't hate me.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting too, you mentioned like, am I physically able to like protect my family? And I think that a lot of men probably resonate with that when they hear that. And even deeper or kind of a base level to that, I would say not being a burden to my family,
Mm,
having somebody help me up the stairs or something. Like I
yeah,
want to be the person that helps, not the one that needs help.
yeah,
And I feel like at a very like root level of just like specifically like the male DNA, I feel like yeah, protect,
pride.
provide, like yeah, I'm the
It's
helper.
a pride thing. It's a very
Yeah,
pride and
yeah.
like stubborn thing I've noticed that males have, and I am no exception. I don't need help. I'll carry these 20 bags of groceries myself on the
Yeah.
first trip, you know. Um,
Yeah, I guess
but we
that's
also have trouble asking for help when
yeah,
we
I was
need
about to
it, and
say
I feel
that's the
like
darker
yeah,
side of it. Yeah.
we have trouble asking for help, and I'm here to say it. Ask for help if you need help.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
sometimes we really do need it. Because you know, you could just give it back 2 times the next time, you know, but if you really need it, put your pride aside. Put
Yeah.
your pride aside and get the help that you need, and that'll help. You'll be able to recover faster or get well faster, and then you could double it and give it to the next person. There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that could be in like so many different ways. That could be maybe you need to, go get some counseling or therapy. That could be through your fake faith, giving it to God and being like, I need help. That could be having a vulnerable conversation with your partner that you don't want to bring up, but you know you need help with, or you want
Yeah,
to, talk about. Just being vulnerable and being open to just filleting yourself open and being like, here I am, you know,
yeah,
I'm not always strong. And I feel like a lot of men, myself included, have a fear of being seen as anything but strong and resilient and
yeah.
like just like a pillar. And it's not easy, but it is very, I think, especially with like relationships, that's a good way to test, like, is this person, like, really on your team or how
Mhm.
tight are you guys? Because if they're there to support you, you open yourself up and they're like, "Absolutely, like, let's work on that," versus, like, judging you for showing weakness. I
Yeah,
think that's a really telltale sign, and hopefully your
yeah,
partner or whoever is, whoever's listening to this, um, is on your team.
yeah.
And I think a lot of times you'd be surprised that they are glad that you opened up and asked for help.
You just have to surrender yourself to the outcome, because if the outcome is they show a negative reaction, then you know that's not somebody that you could trust and somebody that you should not be with, right? But if it's surrendering to the outcome that they are understanding and a conversation can solve it, then it's as simple as that. And a lot of people are just afraid to ask for what they need,
Mm,
whereas those needs can be met if it's just simply through a conversation, which albeit there's a lot of people that, you know, they do ask for what they need and they get traumatized because they get rejected in a negative or unhealthy
yeah,
way. And,
could
you
be that
know,
too.
I don't, you know, I don't fault them for that, but it's having that intentionality to only surround yourself with people that will have more of a healthy reaction or be able to work and grow with it with you or work through it with you. And those are the type of thing I talked about earlier about replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts. And that's what helped me. It's the same thing with people and
Mm.
the quality of people and the situations, the environments that you surround yourself with. be okay with rejection, because that's going to put you one step forward to something that's, or someone that's more healthy for you and more
Yeah.
aligned with your future self, with your best self. So don't be afraid to ask for help, because let people in the world and the universe show you who they are and how they show up for you. And if that's not in alignment, you got to go. But at least have that capacity and that space within yourself to be vulnerable. Maybe you just got to be vulnerable with yourself first, but
Mm,
don't be
yeah.
afraid to ask for help.
Dang, that just like unlocked a whole like visual as you're explaining that. It's like if you're not vulnerable with yourself or with the people that are closest to you, or if you're not honest with yourself, you're kind of like robbing yourself of like experiences or relationships or people or things in your life that's supposed to like that align with you, but you never find it. Or you never
Yeah.
find those people because you're just like, you're not breaking out of this old version of yourself. And you're just kind of like hiding in this, like, I guess, like if you're a bug and you like shed your outer exoskeleton, you're just kind of hiding in there versus going out and being like, all right,
Yeah.
where's my new life? You know?
Precisely. And you can't, what is it? There's this quote, and I'm sure you've seen it. Nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
if you don't change, and if you're in this circle, in this box where you're trapped with all these people that only have these negative reactions, or even it's as simple as you don't feel that you can be your true self around these people, then you are actually limiting yourself, because you're not even being your true self with you, because you're
Yeah.
dimming yourself for other people. Whereas when you start stepping out of your comfort zone, being vulnerable and allowing that, you are going to see really quickly who you are allowing yourself to be vulnerable with. And you're going to attract those types of people that you can. And you're also going to attract the people that you can't at first. And you're going to know to kick them to the curb, because there's more coming. There's better coming. That's such a beautiful thing. And yeah, that's that visual part. I can't wait to get to the point where I have enough time to put all this time into content creation, to where I could start doing more like visual storytelling and like doing
Yeah.
representations of different
Yeah.
things, like that battle of like stepping out of your comfort zone. I could see a visual story for that, or the
Mhm.
battle of like anxiety, or like even like doom scrolling, like the internal battle, and just representing that through like a visual story. Beautiful. And I would love to be able to get into more content like that. I just
Yeah.
balance it with a schedule, with a busy schedule. There's only so many things you could do. And and I'm somebody that's interested in a lot of things, and I'm sure you are, and I'm sure there's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
people. You
It's
have to pick and choose. And that's the unfortunate tragedy of adulting.
yeah. It's like I'm free to do whatever I want. Oh wait, I only have this amount of time that I'm
Yeah.
awake. Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Ah man, there's something I wanted to add to that. Yeah. So as you're kind of unlocking like maybe these relationships or these experiences that are more aligned with you and your values, it's kind of fun. I feel like can also lead to almost gamifying life, and you can almost like expect these things to come into your life because if you're not acting in accordance with, let's say, your ideal self, you're like, okay, this person acts in this way, this person has this self image, and these are their values. But if you're not acting in accordance with who that is,
Mm.
then like this whole path, these experiences, these relationships, like they're not going to come into your life. And so it's almost exciting. Like once you do take that step of like just being unsure and having like fear and doubt, like, oh, is it going to be okay? I'm going to be vulnerable. But you kind of like line up with your like higher or ideal self or whatever
Yeah.
that you see for yourself. Like it's almost exciting. You can almost like expect these things to start
Hmm.
happening coming into your life. And it's almost like
And
a game.
a game, and I like that. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I had to turn off my microphone, but it is almost like a game. And I saw this quote a long time ago of like, fear is a wall, right? That doesn't mean it's meant to be that doesn't mean it's not meant to be overcome. It is just preventing you from what's on the other side, right? So that fear is a visual that change can happen, and you're at the edge of something. You're meeting this wall. Fear is there to show you that you're at the end of something, that you're end of this cliff, you're at the end of this wall. But on the other side of that, you could climb higher. And if
Mm.
you just take those steps and not run away from it, because a lot of people, they'll hit that wall and then they're like, ah, and they retreat, right? But what happens when you go past that wall, when you climb it, when you break it down, whatever, then you have a whole new territory of opportunities to explore once you break out of
Absolutely.
that. And that's, I like to call it a growth mindset, right? I think
Yeah.
from what you've expressed, you have a growth mindset. You're always seeking better environments within yourself, within your body, and just having that mindset to try to attract these opportunities for growth will keep you moving forward and keep you surrounding yourself with better and better people that will also help you grow and climb along that way. So y'all are maybe conquering these walls together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, growth mindset is huge. I know we're kind of a little bit over on time, so I want to be respectful of your evening, especially since you're in East Coast time. It's probably pretty late over there.
Yeah, it is a little bit tragic, the time zone thing.
Yeah. Final question I have for you. Imagine you are sitting in a room, and next to you in this chair is yourself of when before your transformation, before injuries, before the growth, um, whatever age that is. Just kind of picture that, and you have like one or two sentences of advice to give to this younger version of yourself. What are those sentences?
Fail first, fail hard, and fail fast. And
And
this failure applies to everything that you do. That could be jobs, that could be career paths, that could be people, that could be relationships, that could be your heart, you know? Put everything out there that you can, because the faster you do that, the faster you're going to get your feedback, whether that's failure or success. You won't know if you don't try. So fail first, fail hard, and fail fast, because you're going to learn fastest from that. And do not be afraid to take that risk and fail.
love it. It's a soundbite right there. Boop. Short content, short form.
Soundbiting, I just learned that recently.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Solid. Well, appreciate you taking time out of your evening, Cameron. And yeah, if you're ever in Phoenix or if I'm ever Cincinnati or wherever you move to, we gotta link up for sure. I definitely vibe with your mindset, with just kind of how you carry yourself. I think it's cool. And yeah, I can see you doing a lot with your brand, see the vision for you. So I'm excited to see where that goes as well.
Thank you, Ken. I'm excited for us to both grow together, and really explore this thing we call life. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed it. You're a very quality individual, and I will definitely hit you up when I'm in Phoenix.
Yes, sir.
I'm loving what you're doing, and I'm loving to seeing more. Because we're both, I feel like we're both at the very beginning stages of our content creation journey, and really our journey that we call expression and the human
Yeah,
experience. So I'm looking forward to see how that pans out in both of our lives. And yeah, I wish you luck, man. Thank you so much.
definitely. Thank you. Have a good night.